What's going on, everyone? It's Ronan MMA here. Welcome back to the channel. The MMA gods, and Dana White really pulled through yesterday. And also, credit where credit is due, all of the fighters that signed those contracts, especially in this matchup, okay? Jorge Masival versus Gilbert Burns. Are you kidding me, dude? I could not be more excited for this fight. I am telling you what, okay? This fight is incredible. I am honestly super surprised that Jorge Masvidal signed that contract, especially after watching how Gilbert Burns handled Neil Magny on at UFC 283. But before we get into this, I forgot to ask on the last video, not until the end of it anyways, please like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and don't just watch all my videos and not subscribe. That'd be really rude. You know, I'm Canadian, so we don't like rudeness over here, and we usually apologize if we are rude. So I would greatly appreciate it, if you could go ahead and like and subscribe. Don't be a silly goose, okay? Just do it. So anyways, let's get into this, dude. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The last thing that I thought Jorge Masvidal would do is sign a contract to fight Gilbert goddamn Burns after Gilbert Burns performed the way that he did on Saturday night. Gee whiz. Like, it's incredible. And I don't want to give all the credit to Jorge Masvidal, but like, in terms of what there is to lose, right, for this fight, I think Jorge Masvidal has a lot more to lose than Gilbert Burns does, right? Well, he also has a lot more to gain, though, because if Jorge Masvidal goes out there and like knocks out Gilbert Burns, then you're looking at another title shot, whether y'all like it or not, and whether it would be deserving or not, especially if Leon Edwards remains the champion after his trilogy match with Kamaru Usman, right? And that's absolutely what they're trying to do, by the way. That's what they're trying to set up. They are really hoping that Jorge Masvidal goes out there and does some crazy shit against Gilbert Burns and knocks him out cold. And they're hoping that Leon Edwards is able to go out there and head kick Kamaru Usman to the shadow realm, so that they can set that matchup up, just because of the storyline and all that. They have set up good. There's good contingencies in place, though, because Gilbert Burns' name could not be hotter right now. So if he goes out there and he beats Jorge Masvidal, my God, superstardom. And he deserves it, man, quite frankly, more than a lot of these guys. He's been extremely active. I think ever since that Khamzat Chimaev fight, his confidence has just gone through the goddamn roof. I think he might have been doubting himself at the beginning of that fight. If you just go back and watch their entrances, his eyes, and I know he's a really sweet, nice looking guy, but his eyes reminded me of like Cowboy Cerrone's eyes at the beginning, during his walkout to Conor McGregor. And I was a little concerned for Gilbert, but that fight, despite it being a loss, is aging very, very well, because he is the only person on the roster that has managed to make Khamzat Chimaev look beatable, and even human for that matter. Like, he looked like a cyborg against Kevin Holland. He's looked like a cyborg up until, every fight until Gilbert Burns. And then Gilbert Burns goes out there and has a 3-round war that is as close as it gets. There were a lot of people that were upset with that decision. I don't think they should have been. I think it was the right decision. But with that being said, it was as close gets. And I think that's helped his confidence a lot. And then since then, I think he's had a couple wins, actually. Maybe Wonderboy. Was Wonderboy after Khamzat? I can't remember. But damn, he's looked good, man. The dude is on fire. Let's look that up quickly, just so I don't talk out of me arse. But yeah, if I had to pick who I figure, my camera's not focusing. Nice, I love that, dude. Fantastic. Look at me. Thank you. Okay. if I had to pick right now who I figure to win, right, against Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, okay, so Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. What? So he's on a bit of a like win-loss-win pattern in his last four, but in all fairness, up until Kamaru Usman, he was on a 6-fight win streak. And then he beat Stephen Thompson immediately after Kamaru Usman, and then beat Neil Magny immediately after Hamzat Chimaev, which shows me that like losses, he does not let losses get to him. When was the last time we've seen him on an actual skid? Never. Never, guys. He's never lost 2 in a row. That's extremely impressive. You know, that means the mental side of Gilbert Burns, despite what you may have thought about it in the Kamaru Usman fight, kind of looked like he got broken there. Kind of looked like he was crying during the walkout, which is fine, dude. I'm not going to shame another man for crying. It's a very emotional moment, obviously. But it just shows that fuck off, camera guy. Look at me, motherfucker. Okay. It shows you that his mental capability, his mental strength, fortitude, dude. I just pulled another Michael Bisping, whipping out thesauruses, saying the same thing 3 times with different words. Okay. But you get what I mean, dude. Guy's a fucking savage, man. He's a fucking savage, and I love watching him fight. And I love what he did against Neil Magny. I love the way he did that. He's reminding everybody, hey, motherfuckers, I've got some of the best jiu-jitsu in this division. Y'all better watch the fuck out, or I am going to put a squeeze on you that'll make you tap despite not having the correct leverage in that position there. He did not have the room to hop over into side control and get the kind of squeeze that you would ideally want on an arm triangle. But the pressure that he is able to, to display just from it didn't matter. It didn't matter. And if I had to pick in this fight, dude, I have to pick Gilbert Burns. As much as that pains me to say, man, I was a really big fan of Jorge Masvidal even before. Like, people like to conflate the Cowboy fight with after the reality show. That's not true. Okay? Cowboy was before the reality show. And then, as a matter of fact, I think he had a loss after that to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, if I am correct. I'm pretty sure I am correct about that. But people like to conflate that. Oh, he went away on a reality show. He came back. He knocked out Cowboy. He knocked it. Like, they just want to add a 4th one in there because they realize that, yeah, dude, he had 2 losses after the Cowboy fight. So those people that are doing that are way off base. To be fair, it was in the same year as the other ones. Like, they weren't super far apart. But he lost to Damian Maia and Stephen Thompson after that, after the Cowboy fight. I think that he probably should have got the decision against Damian Maia because damage is supposed to be the most important thing. But maybe at the time it wasn't. But that was a weird fight, dude. It was almost like they were taking turns. Hey, we get half the round on the feet, half the round on the ground. And, dude, this is the only reason why Jorge Masvidal is very hard to submit. And I don't think it's going to matter if you're Gilbert Burns. Jorge Masvidal spent, in that fight, there was probably 7 minutes of back time for Damian Maia. That's just a guess off the top of my head. It might have been a little more, it might have been a little less, give or take a bit, and didn't get subbed. How many dudes can spend that much time with Damian Maia backpacking him and not get subbed? Yeah, I don't know if I see Gilbert Burns submitting him. What I could see, though, a potential scenario is if Gilbert Burns managed to catch him with a big shot on the feet and Jorge Masvidal gets rocked, then I could see him maybe cinching up a submission, kind of like the way Islam did against Charles. Jorge Masvidal doesn't have 0 chance in this fight. If I was going to handicap it or something, I would probably do 55-45. Like, this is a close fight. Jorge Masvidal is very tricky on the feet. People don't give him enough credit because they've watched him now lose 3 in a row, but those 3 in a row are Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington, right? And only one of them was a finish, and it was that second one there against Kamaru Usman. But like, people acting like Jorge Masvidal's just washed up garbage now because he's lost 3 in a row is not being, it's not very being, it's not very being, it's not very intellectually honest to say that. Sorry, I was just reading there. Yeah, it's not very intellectually honest because they're against like 2 of the best welterweights in the world, you know. With that being said, I would still pick Gilbert Burns. I think the most likely outcome is a decision. I think Gilbert Burns, if he comes out there wanting a crowd please, then I could see him getting finished because he's not as technical on the feet as Jorge is. But if he comes out there and is like, I don't give a fuck what the crowd says. If I win this fight, Brazil's going to love me anyways. The win over Masvidal doesn't matter. How it gets done, I'll still take some of his hype. It would be obviously a lot better if he managed to finish him, but he could basically do what he did to Wonderboy if he wanted to. And I mean, Jorge Masvidal does have somewhat good wrestling defense because, to be fair to him, the last 3 times he's fought are against 2 of the best wrestlers in the division. But Kamaru Usman didn't even want to go to the ground with Gilbert Burns. So I don't know how. Yeah, Masvidal might be able to get up for a round. You know, he might have a good 5 minutes of explosive escapes. But I think that Gilbert Burns is a very imposing individual. He's a big, thick boy, and I could see him controlling Masvidal for 2 out of 3 rounds, enough to get the decision. I mean, the only thing is when Gilbert Burns gets rocked, all shit kind of goes out the window, but I think the most likely outcome, and not by much, I don't mean like 90%, I mean like, as I said, 55-60%. I think Gilbert Burns takes this one by decision. Jorge Masvidal's 38 years old. I don't think he really cares anymore. If he loses, I could see this being his last fight, and then that'll be the end of Game Bread. So yeah. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I'm so happy they made this. Thank you, UFC, and like and subscribe. All right, I'll see you at the next video.